Hi and welcome back. I hope you're all having a great day so far today. So my name's Dratlow44, welcome back to the channel. So the reason for the video is because I did a video the other day or a few days ago about easy tips and easy ways to kind of improve as a player, just some little guides and some little things. Well, you know, it's like anything, when you're sort of like going through some gameplay and some footage, actually I found some other really good examples that kind of elaborated on what I'd already said and kind of went along with it and said, do you know what, here is just some great examples. So one of them, as you can see, is just waiting for the enemy to run through the door unsuspecting. Keep crouched, shoot them, they are dead. Happy days. But before we get into the main bulk of the content, of course, do remember to never stop moving, never stop believing, and stay Apex. Let's get into the main bulk of the video and the content. So the main idea with the video is to cover things like weapon choices, positional play, kind of decision making, when to back off from a fight, and some various other things as well. Now I'll link the original video in the description below, so if you did want to watch that one first, then come back to this one, it would make a bit more sense. But if you don't, it's absolutely fine, because of course this one will be as a separate video as it can be, given the content. So in this particular clip, I mean, I have to be honest, there was a Bangalore wandering around. RNG had not been very kind to them, and they hadn't actually found a weapon. But the reason that I use this clip is because you see they can carry on there and they are literally trying to punch me. Now you can crouch and you can actually, of course, avoid the punches and all those things. Now this is a great example of positional play. Now it didn't quite work out exactly as I would have liked. However, it is a great example of what it can. Now it was clipped from the Armed and Dangerous, so you can see that Wraith comes in. Okay, unfortunately they managed to get the down on the lifeline. The other one's already down as well. So I managed to try and get the lifeline up, but unfortunately the team comes in and I realised that then it's a 2 against 1 basis. Now the Pathfinder of course comes down, which is brilliant. I'm able to use the cover. The Mirage pushes me. Now I am very unfortunate that I shoot the Pathfinder and kill them, and unfortunately it doesn't work out. But this is a great example of when it does. Now, unfortunately, the flatline, I have to be honest, it hasn't quite still got the range of a gun like the Hemlock, and I would recommend that if you are liking a better gun with range, to use the Hemlock over the flatline. Now, I realise that I'm in a bad position. I say to my friend to back off, and that is exactly what I then do. Now, as you can see, I mean, fortunately, I'm in Beast of the Hunt, so it does give me a little bit of a speed boost. I use a Phoenix kit using the sliding down the hill to gain a bit more speed. And of course, as you can see there, I actually then use the rock just to kind of like cover up and make sure that I pop that Phoenix kit off. Now the Pathfinder pushes me, which is perfect because it's a one-on-one fight, which is much better. I am not scared to swap weapon. I down the Pathfinder. Now a very easy one to do here is to thirst and try and kill the Pathfinder, but I decide, of course, not to do that. Let's heal up. This puts pressure on the teammate of the enemy, because they now want to try and get that revive, and it sometimes can make them make the worst decisions. And also as well, he's not pushing me, that Bloodhound, so it gives me a bit of time to heal up and reload my guns. Now as you can see, I do a vital scan. Now this makes him panic. He does know my position, he scans as well, but he's against the vault. I've got the Eva, and as you can see, I use the crouch, which is a setting I'm going to go through, and I win the fight. And of course then I decide to heal up. Now something that I do before reviving as well is something really important, is to make sure you either replenish your shield, or in this case shield swap. Very vital that you do that, because if anyone attacks you, at least you have got some health to, of course, be able to get away and reposition and all those things. So regarding settings, so something that I do with the settings then is that I do not have it where if I take some damage when I'm looting a death box, I will come straight out of the death box. It is preference. All these settings are preference, and these are just to give you some ideas. My sensitivity, which I did put on an older video, is higher at 4, and ADS, or aiming down sights, is 5. Again, I'd play around with your preferences, but you just might find that you might change that setting and it may just help you a little bit in maybe hitting those shots or just gaining the advantage of those fights. Now, as regards to controller presets, this is PS4, so just bear in mind that it may be different for whatever platform you play, but personally I use Button Puncher. The reason for it is all the controls are exactly the same. The only difference is that for me, circle is melee, and my analog stick enables me to crouch and slide and all those things as well. And it just makes it a little bit easier for me personally to be able to crouch while I'm shooting, but also to slide and also to move about. So it just means that I'm a little bit harder to hit sometimes, and it just seems to, for me personally, give a little bit of advantage. Now I'm going to give a demonstration of exactly why I like this setting in this particular clip right here. Now, as you can see, I scan with Bloodhound. I see that there's only the one enemy. Perfect. I've got an Eva 8, which is by far my favourite shotgun, and this is the reason why. As you can see, I can strafe and I can crouch at the same time. This confuses the enemy. The Octane backs off, which is perfect, and I then get the down, of course. So this one is kind of a mixture between shield swapping, positional play, and weapons. Now, weapons I've covered before. I mean, I'd always say to look, you know, if you can choose a weapon that you're happiest with, great. Sometimes you're not always going to get the weapons, so just remember to, of course, always aim down sights if you're at distance. Know the ranges of the guns that you're using, but if you're firing from the hip, remember that a lot of the guns do have much further ranges than you would expect. Now, something I do there is because I don't know straight away that someone else isn't going to push, I shield swap just in case. So I swapped from a purple shield to a blue. Do not be scared to do that, because once you've won a fight, you can always go back and collect, of course, that purple shield. It really does help. You know, it is something that, like anything, it's just something to do. Now, I do give my friend the shield's big shield battery. I could have used that myself for a purple shield, admittedly, but I'd rather he has health as well. So try and always be a team player when you can, because it does make such a difference to these kind of games, even if it is with a random. As you can see there, the other one pushes the lifeline. She had no chance. She was surrounded by us and another squad. She tries to reposition, but of course, being in the right place, you can get the down. Now, this wasn't the best example of looting quickly. What I'd always do is just try and prioritize exactly what you need. Do you need shields? Do you need health, ammo? Is there a better weapon that you're more comfortable with? Be as quick as you can, swap it out, and everything like that. Now, I do go back and I get my purple shield. Something that I would normally do is block the doors. If I heard someone coming, I would actually block the doors and make it more difficult for them to get through. Because again, if they're trying to kick the door down and you're healing up, you can actually then... The animation between them kicking the door means that you have time to actually shoot them and get that initial burst of damage. Now, I did know that the squad weren't pushing, but I also knew that one of them was a Bloodhound, which is also something where, you knowing the kind of style of player, you know that they're very likely to be very aggressive, and knowing that myself, having played Bloodhound from the beginning, my first legend I ever used, you know that you can use that knowledge to your advantage. Now, realising that they had Beast of the Hunted, I believe, with Bloodhound, of course, and they do a scan, I knew that it was a good idea to reposition, which is what I said to Viper. So we reposition, we go on the zip line, I say, let's get the hell out of here. Bullets whizzing past us, as you can see, and we literally say, right, okay, let's bring the fight to us rather than to them, because it makes such a big difference. Now, normally, losing the height advantage is not something that I'd recommend. However, it's circumstantial. It always is circumstantial with this. So what happens is that I realise that the Bloodhound is going to get ahead of the other player, and of course that is going to put them at a disadvantage. Now, having a G7 with 2x4 scope, the one that I personally like, enabled me to get some shots. They didn't seem to have shield, or they didn't seem to have a lot of health, so now I know that I can go and push, because the Bloodhound has retreated. They're going to want to try and heal up. Don't know why they didn't pick up the blue shield. I'm not sure whether they were just a beginner player, might be why. Did kill them on this occasion. This makes the other player push. I do a lot of damage, and my friend Viper comes up behind and finishes them off. As you can see, a nice positional play, bringing the fight to them, and I cannot stress enough how important that is. So as you can see with this particular clip, we are sandwiched between two squads. Now, one thing I would always say is that if you're trying to heal up, you're going to just have to try and take a risk. But also do not be afraid to reposition and move, of course, to make you a little bit harder and harder for the enemies to track. And this way I use it to then get the time to pop off a med pack and get some health back. So yeah, we got one straight ahead of us and one over to the left. Now, unfortunately, Viper does get downed, and this is one of those things. Now, I didn't know exactly the position of the first player. I see him, and I shoot. Now, like anything, I realised that he wasn't really moving, and I then take the risk to shoot him. I'm being shot at by the other, but admittedly, he's not kind of pushing, which is really, really strange. And this is kind of a great example of showing that he's a bit too focused on trying to get the kill to notice where I'm at. Now, I then literally reposition around the rock. I heal. I realise I have no shields. I come running up behind him. And of course, ironically as well, he didn't realise that I was behind him. So as I start shooting him, of course, I get the down. He doesn't get the kill. So yeah, don't thirst for the kill too much. So that's pretty much it for the main majority of the video. It's just some further examples, recapping a couple of things. Hopefully that will help some of you, especially with the settings. Just have a play around. But otherwise, do remember to never stop moving, never stop believing, and stay Apex. If you want to drop a like on the video, it'd be much appreciated. And if you do want to subscribe for future content, it would be absolutely amazing. I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye now.